Your body is standing at the edge of a transformation so profound that pharmaceutical companies have built billion-dollar industries trying to replicate it with synthetic compounds and expensive prescriptions. And the catalyst for this complete physiological overhaul is sitting in your refrigerator right now, probably costing you less than $2. I'm talking about committing to eating 5 whole eggs every single morning for the next 30 consecutive days. By the time we finish this conversation, you'll understand with absolute clarity why this ancient food triggers cascading changes in your bloodstream, your neural pathways, and your metabolic machinery that most people will never experience in their entire existence, simply because they've been conditioned to fear the very thing their body is desperately craving. Here's exactly what we're examining: 50 eggs consumed over the course of 1 month. That's a number that makes the majority of medical professionals visibly uncomfortable. They've spent years being trained in institutions that taught them to view eggs as ticking time bombs for your cardiovascular system, little cholesterol grenades waiting to detonate inside your arteries. But here's the information they conveniently leave out of those conversations. A massive epidemiological research study that tracked the health outcomes of over 500,000 human beings, published in one of the most prestigious and rigorously peer-reviewed medical journals on the planet, revealed something that completely contradicts decades of nutritional dogma. The individuals consuming eggs on a daily basis experience significantly fewer heart attacks and cardiovascular events than those who eliminated eggs from their diet completely. We've been systematically deceived about this particular food for more than 50 years. And the consequences of that deception have been catastrophic for public health. In the next several minutes, I'm going to guide you through exactly what the legitimate scientific research demonstrates happens inside your body at the cellular level when you commit to this protocol. We're going to move through this week by week, examining each biological system as it responds and adapts. But before you even think about cracking open your first egg tomorrow morning, there's something absolutely critical you need to comprehend. The specific eggs you purchase will single-handedly determine whether this entire experiment delivers miraculous results or fails completely. This isn't about personal preference or taste. This is about fundamental chemistry and nutrient density. Walk into any conventional supermarket and you'll be bombarded with labels aggressively screaming terms like cage-free and free range. These marketing phrases are meticulously designed by corporate committees to make you feel morally superior about your purchase, while spending absolutely nothing on actually improving the lives of the animals or the quality of what you're eating. The truth is, these terms are essentially meaningless regulatory loopholes. A facility can label itself cage-free while still cramming thousands upon thousands of birds into a dark, windowless warehouse where they never see sunlight and live standing in their own waste. They're technically not confined in individual cages, but they're existing in conditions that are equally horrific. Free range sounds better, but the legal requirement is laughably minimal. It only mandates that the birds have theoretical access to outdoor space. That access can be satisfied by a single tiny door at the far end of a massive building that 99% of the birds never discover or use. What you actually need to seek out is pasture raised. This designation means the chickens are spending their days roaming on actual grass, actively hunting and consuming insects, absorbing natural sunlight, and living in conditions that resemble how chickens evolved to exist for thousands of years. The biochemical result of this lifestyle is dramatic. Their eggs contain exponentially higher concentrations of vitamin D because the birds are synthesizing it through sun exposure. The omega-3 fatty acid content skyrockets because they're eating their natural diet instead of cheap corn and soy. The antioxidant levels are incomparable. You can actually see the difference with your own eyes the moment you crack them open. Factory farm eggs have pale, anemic yellow yolks that look washed out and lifeless. Pasture-raised eggs have deep, vibrant orange yolks that practically glow like miniature suns sitting in your pan. That color isn't some aesthetic accident or artificial additive. It's a visual signature of concentrated nutrient density. No amount of manipulated feed or synthetic supplementation can replicate what real sunshine, natural movement, and species-appropriate diet create at the molecular level. Within the first 7 days of this protocol, something completely unexpected happens inside your body. That constant, nagging voice in your head that's perpetually telling you to eat something, anything, it suddenly goes quiet. That desperate afternoon crash where you find yourself frantically searching through cabinets for something sweet or crunchy to make the craving stop, it simply vanishes into thin air. This isn't about developing superhuman willpower or grinding through hunger with discipline. This is pure biology operating exactly as it was designed. The overwhelming majority of people in modern society are living in a state of hidden starvation that they don't even recognize. You might be consuming 2,000 or even 3,000 calories every single day, but if those calories are coming from nutrient-depleted processed foods, your body is screaming for actual nutrition while your stomach stays physically full of what amounts to edible garbage. Your cells are starving for vitamins, minerals, and essential fats while your gut is stuffed with refined carbohydrates and industrial seed oils. When you start your morning with a bowl of breakfast cereal or a couple slices of toast, your blood sugar concentration shoots upward like a rocket launching into space. Your pancreas detects this dangerous spike and panics, flooding your entire system with massive amounts of insulin to desperately bring those sugar levels back down before they cause damage. But insulin is an aggressive hormone that doesn't operate with precision. It crashes your blood sugar too far in the opposite direction, driving it below baseline. Now your body interprets this as a legitimate emergency situation, and it releases powerful stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline that create an overwhelming compulsion demanding more food immediately. This vicious cycle repeats itself every 2 to 3 hours throughout your entire day, keeping you trapped on a blood sugar roller coaster that destroys your energy, your focus, and your metabolic health. 5 whole eggs consumed together change this entire equation at the most fundamental level. You're taking in approximately 350 calories, but these aren't empty calories that simply provide temporary energy. This is concentrated, premium fuel packed with everything your body actually needs. You're getting a complete spectrum of B vitamins, including B2 for energy metabolism, B5 for stress response, and B12 for neurological function, plus selenium for thyroid health, iodine for hormone production, and phosphorus for bone density. But the real metabolic magic comes from the precise combination of 30 grams of complete protein and 25 grams of healthy fats working in perfect synergy. This specific macronutrient ratio triggers the release of powerful satiety hormones called peptide Y and cholecystokinin. When your brain receives these chemical signals, it interprets the message as we have received everything we need at the cellular level. You can stop searching for food now. The result is that many people notice significant reductions in baseline anxiety levels, sharper reflexes and reaction times, and a more stable, balanced mood throughout the day without the emotional volatility they've accepted as normal. And there's one additional benefit happening in your eyes that most people never connect to their diet. Those deep, vibrant orange yolks contain 2 incredibly powerful antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. These specific compounds preferentially accumulate in the tissues of your retina, where they function like internal sunglasses protecting your vision. We're exposed to damaging blue light from computer screens, phones, and LED bulbs for countless hours every single day. And this light creates oxidative stress and free radical damage in the delicate structures of the eye. Lutein and zeaxanthin actively filter out this harmful light and provide protection against long-term macular degeneration and vision loss. By day 14, you're thinking with greater clarity than you have in years and simultaneously protecting your eyesight for decades to come. Now we need to address why the 30 grams of protein you're obtaining from whole eggs is fundamentally different at the molecular level from drinking a protein shake or eating a chicken breast. This is where the concept of biological value becomes absolutely crucial to understand. Not all protein sources are created equal, despite what supplement companies want you to believe. When you consume protein, your digestive system breaks it down into individual amino acids, and then attempts to use those amino acids to build new tissue or repair damaged structures. But depending on the specific source, a massive percentage gets wasted and simply burned as expensive calories instead of being incorporated into your body. We measure this efficiency with something called net protein utilization. If you drink a whey protein shake, your body might only successfully convert about 17 to 20% of it into actual muscle tissue or cellular structures. The remaining 80% gets used as fuel or eliminated. Soy protein performs even worse with utilization rates in the low teens and the low teens. But whole eggs are different. Your body can successfully utilize nearly 50% of every single gram of protein you consume from them. It's the most efficient protein source that exists on planet Earth. Imagine you're building a house and you can buy cheap lumber that's warped, cracked, and uneven. You'll have to discard 80% of it because the pieces don't fit properly and can't be used. Or you can invest in precision-cut lumber, where almost every single piece is perfectly usable and fits exactly where it needs to go. That's the fundamental difference between low-quality and high-quality protein sources at the biological level. This becomes especially critical as we age beyond 30 years old. Your body begins losing muscle mass every single year in a degenerative process called sarcopenia. This progressive muscle loss is the primary driver of weakness, falls, fractures, loss of independence, and early mortality in older adults. Maintaining muscle tissue isn't about vanity or aesthetics. It's about survival and quality of life. Here's where the widespread egg white obsession becomes genuinely tragic and counterproductive. When you separate the white from the yolk and discard it, you're completely destroying the biological value of the protein. The yolk contains nutrients, including healthy fats and fat-soluble vitamins that help your body actually absorb and utilize the protein found in the white. Plus, eating pure isolated protein without accompanying fat causes a sharp insulin spike. When you eat the whole egg exactly as nature designed it, the fat buffers and moderates that insulin response. You stay in an anabolic muscle-building state without triggering the fat storage mechanisms that insulin activates. By week 3, if you've been doing any form of resistance training or physical activity, you'll notice your recovery time between workouts becomes noticeably faster. If you've been attempting to lose body fat, you'll observe fat disappearing from stubborn areas while your muscle mass stays completely intact or even increases. This is the holy grail of body composition that people spend thousands on supplements trying to achieve. This is the point where your family members start expressing concern. Someone at dinner is inevitably going to inform you with great authority that you're consuming over 1,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day, and your arteries are going to explode like overfilled balloons. This fear is based entirely on outdated nutritional science from the 1960s that has been thoroughly debunked by modern research. But it still completely dominates public consciousness because changing deeply held beliefs is extraordinarily difficult. Here's the reality that your doctor might not actually know, because medical schools provide almost zero nutrition education. Your liver manufactures between 1,000 and 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day, regardless of what you eat. It produces this cholesterol because it's absolutely essential for life itself. You cannot build cell membranes without cholesterol. You cannot produce a single hormone without cholesterol. You cannot repair damaged tissue without cholesterol. Your body is remarkably intelligent. If you eat less dietary cholesterol, your liver detects the shortage and increases its own production to compensate. If you eat more cholesterol from food, your liver scales back its production accordingly. The system self-regulates with precision. This is why dietary cholesterol has virtually no impact on blood cholesterol levels for the vast majority of people. The fear of cholesterol comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of cause and effect. When your arteries become inflamed from chronic stress, poor diet quality, smoking, or other factors, your body sends cholesterol to those sites to repair the damage and prevent further deterioration. Cholesterol is the patch in the repair material, not the problem itself. Blaming cholesterol for heart disease is exactly like blaming the ambulance for causing the car crash just because it's always present at the scene of the accident. But here's what matters most for your immediate health. Cholesterol is the precursor molecule for every single major hormone your body produces. Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, aldosterone, all of them are synthesized from cholesterol as the base ingredient. If you've been struggling with low energy, poor recovery from exercise, persistent brain fog, or decreased libido, it might not be a hormonal imbalance problem. It might simply be a supply problem. You don't have enough raw materials available to manufacture the hormones you desperately need. With consistent daily intake of healthy fats and cholesterol from pasture-raised eggs, your body can finally optimize its hormone production. Men frequently report increased physical strength, mental drive, and vitality. Women often experience improvements in menstrual cycle regulation, mood stability, and energy levels. Now, what about LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol that doctors obsess over? This is where nuance becomes critical. LDL particles come in fundamentally different sizes with completely different effects. Small, dense LDL particles are genuinely dangerous. They can penetrate artery walls and contribute to plaque formation. But large, fluffy LDL particles are essentially harmless. They're too large to cause any damage. Saturated fat and cholesterol from whole food sources like pasture-raised eggs shift your LDL profile toward the large, safe particles. So even if your total LDL number increases slightly on a blood test, your actual cardiovascular risk decreases significantly. Most doctors still don't understand this crucial distinction because they're looking at outdated markers. There's one final mechanism happening that benefits roughly 40% of the population, and almost nobody knows about it. There's an extremely common genetic variant called MTHFR that affects how your body processes a molecule called homocysteine. If you carry this gene variant, your body struggles to convert homocysteine into something harmless. When homocysteine accumulates in your bloodstream, it directly inflames your arterial walls and dramatically increases your cardiovascular risk. It's actually a far more accurate predictor of heart problems than cholesterol has ever been. To clear homocysteine effectively, your body needs specific B vitamins, particularly B9, B12, and choline in their bioavailable forms. Many synthetic supplements contain versions your body can't process properly. Pasture-raised eggs contain naturally occurring bioavailable forms of these exact nutrients. You're supporting your body's detoxification pathways at the deepest cellular level. While everyone else is buying expensive detox supplements that accomplish nothing, you're actually detoxifying your blood every single morning just by eating real food. You can destroy every single benefit we've discussed in 30 seconds if you cook your eggs incorrectly. The delicate nutrients in the yolk, especially the antioxidants and the cholesterol, are extremely sensitive to excessive heat and oxygen exposure. If you blast your eggs on high heat until the yolk turns gray and rubbery, you've oxidized the cholesterol. Oxidized cholesterol is genuinely inflammatory and dangerous. You've also destroyed a significant portion of the heat-sensitive vitamins. The goal is simple: keep the yolk soft, or at minimum, keep it creamy. Soft-boiled eggs are ideal. Poached eggs are excellent. Over easy works perfectly. If you prefer scrambled, don't make them like the dry yellow rubber served at cheap diners. Use low heat. Add a tablespoon of grass-fed butter to your pan. Crack your eggs directly into the melted butter. Stir gently and continuously. The moment you see soft curds forming and the eggs still look glossy and wet, remove them from the heat immediately. The residual heat will finish cooking them. You want them to look like custard, soft, creamy, and rich. This preserves the fat structure and ensures maximum nutrient absorption. After a full month, your body has undergone complete recalibration. Your insulin sensitivity is improved. Your hunger signals have normalized. You've flooded your brain with the building blocks for focus and memory. You've given your hormonal system the raw materials it needs to function optimally. You've reduced systemic inflammation and supported detoxification pathways most people don't even know exist. This isn't a diet. This is a return to eating the way your biology was designed to operate. You haven't just consumed food. You've sent signals directly to your DNA. You've told your cells to build, repair, and thrive instead of merely surviving.